What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Oh my god, in this one I'm going to be showing how to make Cheesecake Factory. It took me surprisingly long to make one of these, yet here it is. The interior will not be in this part, but there is one. I am warning you right now that interior will take a while. That could very well be close to an hour-long tutorial for that alone. But, I'll show you a sneak peek of it here. But this part is just the exterior, and anyway, that is all. Here's a sneak peek. As you can see, there is a lot going on. That is all, though, so that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Maybe that hour is a bit of an exaggeration, who knows. But anyway, here are all the materials we'll be needing for this build. Alrighty, and the spacing of this is a 49 by 36. God, this is such a weird grid. We're going to be starting from the front right-hand corner, just so you're well aware if you need to mark out the spacing. You want to start by getting out the following. You want stripped oak wood, stone bricks, stone brick stairs, pale oak trapdoors, pale oak shelves, pale oak stairs, yellow terracotta, black stained glass, and gilded blackstone. Now, if you're in survival, that is not happening, obviously. Where is gilded blackstone, now that I'm thinking about it? Oh, yeah, it's in here, isn't it? Yeah. You can use, I don't know, black glazed terracotta? We need that anyway, so maybe that's not a bad choice. Anyway, maybe I'm finally done dying over here. Starting from the front right-hand corner of your 49 by 36 grid, cough, if you made it, you want to start by counting back by 4 and left by 1, and going up, you're going to place 9 stripped oak wood. That should face up. That's like the height of the build. Congratulations. From this stripped oak, we're going both left and back at the same time from the bottom one with 2 stone bricks. You'll then place a pale oak trapdoor open against that stone brick, like this. I'll then go back with a black glass, which will be back on the front, and it'll be left on the side there. It's kind of if you're looking at it. Then extend that left by 2, or I guess... yeah, sure. Well, I'll say left, because this is based on the front. Then in front of that end black glass, we'll place a pale oak trapdoor open to the kind of outside, like so. You'll then go left with 2 stone bricks, and then a pale oak trapdoor open against that. Pretty much same thing, you're going back with a black glass, but this time left by 3 instead of 2. And then a pale oak trapdoor open against the kind of outside from there. 2 stone bricks over. Pale oak trapdoor open against that. Not where I had that. Black glass behind, which is brought left by 2. Pale oak trapdoor on the end of that. Good lord, I am going through it apparently. And then 3 stone bricks for now. Going across. Cool. You can... let's take this a step at a time. Each black glass you want to extend up with 2 black glass and then a gilded blackstone. The only really exception to this is where you have the 4 block wide windows. You want to add another row of black glass on top from there. Oopsies, not on that one. And yeah, hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. Other than my voice apparently not working. That's always unfortunate. But it should give you this. The stone bricks... well, I'm going to tell you 2 things at the same time because they kind of work hand in hand. Each stone brick you're bringing up with an upside down stone brick stair, and then from there a regular stone brick stair on top, which will give you these really weird ridges. They'll make more sense later. Each pale oak trapdoor you'll end up bringing up with another pale oak trapdoor kind of opened against the stair, and then a pale oak shelf above that, kind of in the same orientation, like so. And I give you those both at the same time because you can kind of use them to help build each other. So you can kind of just kind of fly across like this as I am. And yeah. I'll kind of give you this for the front. And then the right is kind of the same. I guess it's just mirrored. Well, not really. I guess I wouldn't say mirrored. Technically, it is still the same. Well, no, I guess it is mirrored because the pale oak. Not the pale oak, the stripped oak, my bad. and the distance on the sides. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed the 2 recent tutorials, city tutorials that are originals and not ones that are remakes of any kind. Figured I would get back to it a little bit. Okay, so for the 4 block wide windows, you're replacing another shelf on top of the ones you already have. It's been a while since I had done a non-refresh before Church's Chicken. You'll then, kind of above those shelves, also on the short windows, you'll place an upside-down pale oak stair facing in, like so, above each of the 6 windows in total. You'll then place pale oak trapdoors between those stairs, just going across whatever top blocks you have. More so as interior prep than anything, I'm placing another row of gilded blackstone on top of these top black glasses. Don't really mind it, it's just going to be there, kind of. But you want to really fill the rest of both these walls up in line with the stone brick to the top of the stripped oak with yellow terracotta, which at most points will be 6 blocks. Some it'll be 5, some it'll be 4. But you just kind of want to make sure that you get a flat, for the most part, wall. I guess the windows would make it not flat. But, yeah. Hopefully soon SpongeBob tutorials will start, by the way, which is exciting. Depending on when this releases, I really don't know. I'm still trying to figure everything out. Beginning of the year, just like all of the new stuff that I've been immediately pumping out, or at least building, it's just like, it's kind of all over the place, so you should end up with this. We will eventually have to build this wall back more and then across the back, but I think I'm going to wait until we get to that corner over there, and essentially just bring that back, and then we can just take point A and connect to point B, you know? That'll just make it a little bit easier. Anyway, I guess you can clear your inventory and get out the following. You want birch planks, cyan wool. I don't know if we're going to be able to get everything we need here. Block of stripped bamboo, dark oak doors. You'll never guess what we need more of. Gilded blackstone. First time I probably ever used it in a tutorial, and may very well be the last. Bamboo mosaic slabs. Birch slabs. Birch stairs. And we're going to go black glazed terracotta for now. Starting from this end stone brick, you want to place a birch plank to the left. You then want to extend it forward by 2 and left 1. Is it with a birch? I actually have it as a block of strip bamboo here. I'll bring that strip bamboo left with 2 dark oak doors. Another block of strip bamboo. They should be facing up. Birch plank, and then I'll extend that birch back by 2. Couple things are going on. Either block of strip bamboo is being brought forward by 1, and each of the now 4 are being brought up by 2. In addition, each birch plank is brought up by 1. Over top of the dark oak doors, you'll have gilded blackstone above with upside down bamboo mosaic slabs in front. Above the mosaic slabs, you'll want a 2x2 of black glazed terracotta like this. However, you want to figure out however you need to place them to get the directions correct. For this one, I'm there, so is it just like rotating? No, it's going to be rotating the other way, I think. Yep. And then there, and then there. The only way that I would recommend figuring this out, it is always weird on walls, but you are rotating either left or right each time. Once you figure out one, you see here I'm going to the block to the right. I'm going to turn to the right to place, and then the one on top of that I'll turn to the right again, and then from this perspective, the one to the right I'm turning right again, and it is giving me that. It is definitely strange. It took me forever to figure that one out, just in general, so, yeah. On either side of the glazed terracotta, you will place 2 birch planks, going up, I guess. You'll then bring either one forward, with the bottom one's forward with an upside down birch stair, and the top one's forward with a right side up stair. I'll place birch slabs kind of against the edges of glazed terracotta on the top and bottom, like so. And then I can get rid of, I think, everything but your cyan wool. Well, that's hard. Get rid of everything but your cyan wool, birch planks, and birch stairs. And I'll just leave them where... Actually, I'll bring the birch stairs forward, and then I'll move the cyan back one. And in addition, you can get out packed ice. That's another one that I don't generally use. Well, actually, you can use it for mirrors. Warp slabs. Warped shelves. Birch trap doors. That was the big one. End rods. And we're gonna go levers for now, I think. Yeah. Off of the, like, second strip bamboo here on either side, the middle one, I guess, you're going to place a lever pointed up, and if you crouch and place an end rod on top of it, it'll give you some lights. You can already get rid of the levers and get out white candles. Actually, probably should have done the birch, whatever. On top of the kind of top of this birch door area, you're going to place just birch trap doors, mainly to cover the glazed terracotta, but just to make it even, place all four. On top of the side birch plank rows here, these rows of 3, you want to extend each one up individually with 10 cyan wool. Just like so. And that should give you some sort of measurement. Connect the top 2 rows of cyan wool across the front. And underneath these side ones from there, you're going to go down with 2 packed ice. And then just the rest of this front area can be filled in with cyan wool. Like so. Off of the packed ice, you're going to place a couple warp slabs, which is going to be at the top of, or against the top block, it's an upside down. Against the bottom, it's a normal one, which will give you this. I'm gonna not mention it yet. Okay, off the sides of each warp slab, you're placing warp shelves, which will give you some kind of windows that aren't actually windows, but it'll also give you a face. Sorry in advance, but I have to point it out when I see it. On the sides, you want to bring the top, I'm gonna say the top 4 cyan wool, each back by 3. As in, I guess, the top 4 rows. And then I will connect together at the back from there. That's the most we're going to need anywhere. So, yeah. You then want to place birch planks on top of the top cyan wool. And just because you can actually fill in the center here. We don't need, like, any of it. I think we need maybe a corner, but... Do we even need a corner? No, actually, you wouldn't, but... It'll make it easier. It's fine. Oh, we needed birch slabs. Get rid of your cyan wool and get back out birch slabs. I didn't realize they were used. And against each corner birch plank, you want to extend it in either direction by 1, which is just anything but up, pretty much. And it'll give you this goofy look. Place an upside down birch slab in each of those kind of corners it created. And then bring those planks towards each other with an upside down birch stair that is kind of facing out. And then just fill in the center 2 blocks with birch planks on all 4 sides, which will give you a nice hat. It looks weird, but once we get the terracotta dome in, it'll look a little bit better. I didn't realize how bare that looked. On each corner, really the upside down birch slabs, you'll bring them up with an end rod and then a white candle, which will give you... It'll just make them a little taller with the candle. And as you can see, it does line up perfectly. The candle and the end rod are the same size. Clear your inventory and just get out terracotta for now. And from the center 2 birch planks, really on each side, well, actually the center 4 blocks, a row back, you'll just place 4 terracotta, which essentially would just be on top of the birch plank perimeter we placed, just excluding the corners, like so. The center 2 terracotta on each side, you'll bring up an additional 1. Connect them diagonally, kind of on the edges here. And then from there, you're just filling in the top a block up with more terracotta. And that is a fairly small dome, but as you can see, it does make it look better. We can focus on the left side now. So get out the following once you get rid of the whatever we just had, terracotta. Get out stone bricks. Yellow terracotta. Stripped oak wood. Black glass. Polished blackstone blocks, actually, is what I'll say first. And then you do also need polished blackstone stairs. In addition to that, oak stairs. Ochre frog lights. And, I'll just say a lever. Going left from this bottom birch plank, you want to go over with 7 stone bricks. I have this curve memorized, I don't know why. You'll go back diagonally left. Left 2. Back diagonally left. Left. Back diagonally left 3. Back. Back diagonally left. Back 2. Back diagonally left, and then back by 6. Like so. You can, technically speaking, go either way for this. You can start from the back and go forward, or start from the front and go back along it. But just kind of following the shape you want to be following. You're placing 5 yellow terracotta to start. Stripped oak wood. 2 black glass. Stripped oak wood. 2 black glass. Stripped oak. 2 glass. Stripped oak. 2 glass. Stripped oak. 2 glass, stripped oak, and then you'll end with 5 yellow. Each of the stripped oaks should face up, by the way, and as you can see, it gives you this. Couple things that are happening here. Each stripped oak you're bringing up by 3. Like so. I'm also going to bring the yellow terracotta up by 3, actually. I was going to wait on that, but you'll see why we do that. I guess you could bring it up by 4, but we're just going to add another row on top when we need to. And then for the black glass, you're going 1 row of glass, 1 row of polished blackstone, and then 1 more row of glass. Which will just divide the windows a little bit. Like so. And then off of each of those polished blackstones, you want to place just kind of stairs coming off of them facing whatever way you would think. We're not placing extras or anything. Like on these, they're just going to face forward. On these on the left, they're facing left. The only one that's weird is the center one. You're placing a stair facing left from the back, more block, and from the front, more one, you're having it face forward. And I'm just going to smack an additional block kind of on the diagonal between those. So it looks like this. Then, on top of everything, can we place that 1 row of yellow terracotta for now. We'll add 2 more later, but we gotta add some funny little light window first, whatever they are. I don't really know. So first off, from the first glass block on really both the front and other side, you're gonna place an oak stair facing from the front. It'd be left, and from the back half it would be forward. It kind of just faces towards the center of the curve. And then on the next block over this diagonally, you have an oak stair facing sort of into the previous one. Obviously it wouldn't, because you can't do diagonally like that, so it'll just face kind of backwards on the left and right on the front. And then on the from the center window, you're having a couple oak stairs that are facing towards... imagine this polished blackstone being higher. They're just going to kind of face into that position where that is. Like so. That was kind of butchered, but hopefully that's easy enough to see what I'm doing. Above each of those, you're going to do the same things, just with opposite down oak stairs instead. Like, sometimes I just don't know how to explain directions of stairs whenever I'm trying to explain multiple at the same time, especially when it's on a curve. Because, like, normally I could just be, like, inward or outward, but there's not really in or out here. You know, it's... I don't know, I guess technically in would be towards the center of the curve, and out would be away, but whatever. Behind each of those stairs, you're going to place ochre frog lights, just to cover up the kind of opening that they would create, like so. That'll be better visualized once you take all the remaining yellow terracottas and bring them up by 2, and you can kind of see where the frog lights need to go. Just be filling in any void gap that you have. like so. Around this very obvious full row of yellow, it's the only one that is a full row. You're just going to wrap around this with upside down oak stairs. You do add the extra corners here because you want them all to connect properly. And yeah, that's really the gist of it. The rest of the build, other than the banner letters from here, isn't too complicated. Well, actually, we do have one more thing that's a little weird. Get rid of your ochre froglets and get out end rods once all of this is done. And on both the 5-block wide yellow terracotta walls, you're placing a lever on the bottom yellow with an end rod above it. Same way that you did next to the entrance on either side. On either side of the entrance, I guess. Cool. We're going to wait to fill in roofs and stuff just because. But you can get rid of your black glass. And I'm going to shift the yellow terracotta and stripped oak wood over a block. And get out stone brick stairs. And what I would recommend doing first here is on this particular corner behind this end, you're going to place a stone brick here with, how many yellow on it? 8, I think? I can check. Yes, 8 yellow on top. So it is 1 taller than the wall that we've been making here. You extend the stone brick left with 3 stone bricks. Stripped oak wood facing up. Then you're going to go back with 12 stone bricks. Stripped oak wood facing up. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you're taking the stripped oak wood and bringing it across the back with stone bricks. And eventually you would, I guess, take the right wall and bring this also back with stone bricks, and they would meet at a point that would be another stripped oak wood. Should be self-explanatory what we're doing from here. First, I'm going to bring either stripped oak wood up by 8. Just so I don't accidentally... I guess there's 3 of them, so... Either or all of them. Each implies 2, I feel like. And then on top of each stone brick, you're placing an upside-down stone brick stair facing out. Then just a normal stone brick stair, and then, what is it, 5 rows of yellow terracotta? 6 rows. How am I always 1 block off? It's actually a skill, I swear. And then, yeah. That'll be the main kind of structure done, and then it's just banner letters, as I mentioned, and also roofs, which we're going to save roofs for last. I always do roofs last because they're the kind of grindy thing, so I can just be like, here's everything else, and then if you don't care about the roof, then get out. Unless, obviously, refresh for a weird exception, because sometimes the roofs are either so small it doesn't matter, or they just, yeah, get like the parking lot and stuff. I try to put things in a logical order to where a person who wants specifically the build, like, especially for refresh, a person who only wants the build only has to see the build and, like, isn't, like, mid-build and be like, oh, good, so now you're starting the parking lot after you half finished the Taco Bell, so let me go backwards now. Or let me skip forward until I find where you go back to the build. I just find that a little egregious to do it that way. Anyway, you should have this. One more thing I want to do before we do the banner letters. It's kind of a weird thing. The yellow terracotta here on the left side, you want to take this row and bring it across, kind of going right, until you're 1 block further than this cyan corner closer to you. And then from there, you're connecting into that cyan like so. Oh my god, and as you can see, you're a little bit off from connecting perfectly. But that just makes it so the stairs are on the end of it. Ha. Clear your inventory and get out the following. You just want mangrove slabs and mangrove shelves for a second, because I want to make the C and the F. So, on the front, taking the furthest left window in the top left corner of it, this stair. You're counting up by 2 and placing a mangrove slab. Extend it left with another slab and then a shelf against the side of that. Bring the shelf up by 2 and then bring that top shelf right with 2 upside down slabs. From the right half of the middle window, this pale oak stair, directly above it you want to go up with 3 mangrove shelves against the right half of the blocks, with a mangrove slab on top of that and 1. That slab will be brought right by 2. And I guess out of this row of 3, the middle slab, you would have another one below it, half a block away. And that gives you C and F. Other than Cheesecake Factory, what would that stand for? Cogfly. Hollow Knight Soak Song reference. I think. That's an enemy, right? I swear that's an enemy. Maybe Conchfly. No. Yes, no. Raging Conchfly. That's a thing. Anyway, get out a loom, a frick ton of yellow banners, and a frick ton of yellow and red dye. Do I have any left over? I don't. That's shocking for once. Smack your loom. My bad. That wasn't aggressive enough. Smack your loom aggressively on the floor. That's better. And put your first yellow banner in and a red dye. And you want to do the line down the right with red, which is Pale Sinister. You then want to do the full top half with yellow, which is going to be Perfess. Red dye back in. You're doing line left to right through center, which is Fess. Line down the left, which is Pale Dexter. And then you're putting a yellow in and doing that little bottom left corner guy called Base Dexter Canton. And that just gives you... It's got like a funny little, as you can see, that kind of hook. So I just wanted to make sure that I actually replicated that. Next one is the lowercase e, red dye in, line down the right, which is Pale Sinister. Yellow dye in, full bottom half as yellow, which is Perfess inverted. Red back in, line left to right through the center, which is Fess. Line across top, which is Chief Fess. Line across bottom, which is Base Fess. And then line down left, which is Pale Dexter. Next banner in, line across top and bottom with red, Chief Fess and Base Fess. And then the diagonal from top left to bottom right, which is Bend. Next one. Line down the left, which is Pale Dexter, with still red. Then the lines across the top and bottom, which are Base and Chief Fess. Next one. Line down the left with red. Then the full top half with yellow. So, Perfess. Red back in. All three lines going left to right, which is Chief Fess, Fess, and Base Fess. Line down the right, which is Pale Sinister. Just the E, but inverted. Next banner in, you want to do the full left half as red, which is Per Pale. And then both diagonals, Bend and Bend Sinister. You could do the X, but the X is a little bit thinner. I can't. Actually, you can see it, yeah. If I do select this one, you can see the thickness of the top line. And then if I do this, you can kind of see the edges almost get, like, blurred. I don't want to say blurred, but that's what I'm going with. Next one. This one is definitely a weird one, but leave me alone. You want to do the line across the bottom with red, which is Base Fess. I'm then going to do... Well, okay, I guess this isn't technically the way I did this originally, but too bad. Do the full left half as yellow, which is Per Pale. Red dye in. Line going top to bottom, which is Pale, to the center, and also one going left to right through the center, which is Fess. 3 more? Are we serious? You want to do all 4 lines going around the perimeter. Base Fess, Chief Fess, Pale Dexter, and Pale Sinister. Next one, you're doing the line down the left, which is Pale Dexter, and line across top, which is Chief Fess. And finally, yellow banner in, the diagonal from top left to bottom right, which is Bend. Yellow dye in, full bottom half is yellow, which is Perfess inverted. Red back in, and then Bend Sinister, which is just the opposite one. And there you go. That's all your banner letters. To place these, starting from the C, you want to be... It is this block right here, the center block of the left half, kind of. You're placing your H, E, E, S, E, C, A, K, E, and then you're kind of, I guess, skipping the block because you can't place one here because the shelves. And the next block that you can would be here, where you're placing your A, C, T, O, R, and then you can get out, or get the Y and place that. I'm going to just get everything out of here. And there you go. That should say Cheesecake Factory if your spelling has spelled properly. Cool. Next up, to finish the build, you need bricks, brick stairs, snow, the layers, and birch slabs. What did I just use this in? Indigo Park, I think? I don't know. I just, like, said it, and I was like, wait, I just said that in a tutorial recently. On top of each top yellow terracotta, you're placing bricks. Well, not actually, only on this upper layer here. Leave that kind of front left corner alone, because that is not the same. which will give you this. Cool. Wrap those bricks in upside down brick stairs facing out. And the next part's the fun part if you're a bedrock user. Like I am. It's not that bad, you'll just kind of see why I hate it. And then on top of each brick stair, you're placing a snow layer. You can speed place these, but not well. As you can see, example. You just want one snow layer per block. And yeah, like, I think you can look straight down a little forward, and it'll sort of do the thing. But even then, like, it's gonna be skippy. So you're kind of just gonna have to live with it, unfortunately. Oh, wait, I got it? I think I got it. Yeah, you kind of have to look like a little in front of you, but you still want to be highlighting the block that you would be over as you're placing it. Because, okay, well, it just pushed me up there. That's crazy. Yeah, it's annoying. The luxury of speed placing gone wrong. And that should give you this. Now, I will ignore that for a sec. This lower level here, you want to place birch slabs on top of the kind of curve. Side note, the Ogre Frog lights will shine light through the top of this. I mean, everything will, the entire inside of the build. If you care about that, you can layer this with blocks underneath, and then you would have to remove these frog lights at the top. I guess alternatively, you could use powdered snow and place frog lights below, but even, well, no, because even then, you'd have to do snow on the top and powdered snow on the bottom. Which I wouldn't worry about it. But anyway, you'll bring these birch slabs out an additional row, which is pretty much just following the shaping of the oak stairs below you. Like so. And now we're just filling everything in. So filling in this little lower section here in line with the birch slabs with more birch slabs. And filling in the upper section in line with the bricks with bricks. And yeah. If you are not interested in watching the end of this, that is all that you need. So you're free to leave this factory. Although we just love the interior. I did say it was going to be awful. I don't know how bad it's going to be. It took me a while. It definitely took me a good minute to finish. But it might not be that bad because I kind of have an understanding of what I'm doing. And I'm just following something rather than trying to play around with designs. But yeah, I'm not really sure. It's going to be fun. Definitely one of the more complicated non-refresh interiors. Maybe still one of the most complex in general. But then again, that refresh Best Buy. once that gets done, yeah, oh boy, you'll see. You'll see why I've talked about that so much as being like the interior. The interior of all time. Because it's a lot. But now it sucks because every single major store I'm now expected to have that standard for, presumably. I just can't do that, though. Like, I don't think I physically can. Like, it's possible. It's just, I don't really feel like spending that long on a tutorial that, you know, is that. Something like Indigo Park or Poppy Playtime, those are different. But just like a city tutorial, I don't know. Putting in that much effort for an interior is crazy. Especially when I don't really like to split them into parts. I mean, I always could. Like, I could do... I've done two-part interiors. Hospital refresh. That was a two-parter. Anyway, once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the exterior of your Cheesecake Factory complete. My brain wanted to say remake or refresh, but it's just not true. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. I knew it. And it's not going to load. Oh, there it goes.